going for Travis. All of these great Canadians that we've seen here tonight, and for EEU, what a great organization. I'm really glad to be here and be helping this out. So a little bit about me. I'm a mom, so I should be good for something. I guess if anyone here is lost or needs a ride home or something, you could come talk to me later. If what you need is help in the bathroom, you're on your own. I'm not going to fall for that one again. Awkward. Do we have moms here? Isn't it the best? You're having a rough day. I have loved everything about it from day one. Literally, from the time I first learned I was pregnant. The only thing that was hard for me then was kind of the well-meaning, nosy neighbor ladies that were always getting up in my business. You're nodding. You obviously dealt with that. You know, they cornered me after church one day, and I just didn't do well with that energy. I'm a really, really private person. I don't like people getting all up in my business. Clearly, I would make exceptions to that from time to time. I am pregnant in the story after all, but that day they just were all like, you know, do you want a boy or a girl? And I said, look, ladies, I'm not really all that hung up on this baby's gender. I'm just really hoping and praying that this one is white. Because my husband is. And I just feel like that's going to be a really long, awkward day at the hospital. You know, if we don't have a match set. You guys, it really worked. Those ladies have not said a word to me since that day. And my boys are 23 and 25. Anyone dealing with that age group? Lucky all of y'all. They're so cute at this age. It's like they're half man, half child. It's like they've kind of aged out of this phase of their development, but they won't quite leave. They say things to me like, stop treating me like I'm a baby, and hell yes I want an Easter basket. You will never see anything creepier than a hungover bearded dude holding a sparkly basket of eggs. I feel sometimes like their perfect evening would look something like a Blue's Clues themed booze cruise. We went out shopping recently, and our day ended up involving both looking at handguns as well as a visit to the Disney store. Let me explain. We started our day, we went out for the day after Christmas sales, and we started our days at Cabela's, or a day at Cabela's, because they're sporty. And at one point I couldn't find one of the boys, and then I did, and he was standing in front of the handgun case. So I asked why. And he said that he thought that he needed protection. Before anybody freaks out, don't worry, we did not pull the trigger. But when he said the thing about protection, I asked why again. I mean, as a mom, this is scary stuff. We had to kind of sit down and talk this one to the bottom of it. Come to find out, he had plans later that evening with a young lady, and she had asked him to bring protection. He got confused. Apparently context is one of the last things that they master. It's one of the last things that they nail. And I had a feeling that little Kelly down the street was going to be the first thing that he nailed later that day. So then we went over to the outlet mall when suddenly Wally and Beaver look up and there's the Disney store, and oh my God, it's like they were 3 and 5 years old again. It was cool. I mean, it brought back a lot of fun memories. It was kind of a nice little trip down memory lane. Some of the memories weren't so great though, like There was the night that we ended up at Hooters because they loved owls and I hated saying no. So then later that day, over at the outlet mall, we're in the Disney store, and I'm reminded of another really funny thing that happened. When my oldest son was about 5, he was obsessed with the Toy Story toys, and he had collected the whole little posse of them. And one day I looked into his room, I kind of poked my head in the door, and he had them all lined up, you know, the way you do for their weekly meeting or whatever, and I realized there is something really, really wrong here with my boys' lineup, and then it occurred to me, oh my God, my son has a big Buzz and a little Woody. What's worse than being a guy with a big Buzz and a little Woody, I ask you? I suppose it would be to be a guy with a big Buzz and a little Woody and a handgun, so everyone can rest easy, crisis averted. They're fun, they're cute. We have married people here tonight. Not as enthusiastic. You're out, you're here, that's good. Are you guys like happily married or like the other kind? Sometimes I feel like people stay in relationships just to avoid the whole dating thing. You think that's true? It is a thing. I was married for a lot of years, and then a few years ago I found myself single for the first time in a very, very long time. Like, the last time I was single, Bush was popular. Come to think of it now, Bush was president too. Not going to tell you which one. It was a long time ago. So it's weird. I mean, everything is different this time around. First of all, I know I'm a lot different. I mean, when I was 21 years old, I would have been all over finding fast guys and even faster cars that had an in at really wild parties. And these days, I feel like I would be really thrilled to meet someone that had grandkids. Like, let me explain, I do really, really well with kids. Kids and strangers, like that's kind of my target audience. To not know me is to really enjoy me. And it is super hard to get into kid parties. I mean, you can't just crash those without at the very least standing out, or at the very most being like me and being told by the judge, no more kid parties, but so anyhow, here I am. So the other thing that I had to learn about was the whole online dating thing. Do we have single folks here tonight? Yeah? Anyone doing online dating? The enthusiasm just went way down. I felt exactly like you did. I used to say I would rather find myself slumped over a dumpster in an alley somewhere than sitting in a dark, creepy bar making awkward chit-chat with a stranger I met on the World Wide Web. But what are you going to do? And I think I understand why we're so put off by the whole thing. Because online dating contains elements of everything we were taught to fear as children and now see on Dateline NBC. Like, you've got cyberspace, you've got strangers pretending to be someone that they're not, sex, alcohol, hiking, as in missing hikers. But what are you gonna do? It's the way it's done today. So I gave it a try. I'm not doing it, but I gave it a try. The first guy that reached out to me wanted to know if he should come to my house that day for a hookup. Wow, that's kind of setting the tone, yeah. I try to kind of see the good in people, so I didn't know what to say, so I told him, wow, you've got a really amazing command of your personal calendar there, and love how you just got that so perfectly scheduled, and I love the fact too that this plan's going to have you home in time to have dinner with your wife and kids. I asked bachelor number 2 how he likes his coffee, and his response, like my women, ground up and in the freezer. This is going really well, I'm just getting better. And then bachelor number 3 turned out to be this kind of white supremacist Trump-publican guy, and that wasn't going to work for me. Yeah, I've got some hard decisions to make. I'm not afraid of hard decisions, though. I've had to face hard decisions all the time, forever. Last summer, I was at my cousin's house. I was actually staying with my aunt and uncle. This is an example of a hard decision. My cousin was giving me the tour and showing me my options for where I could sleep that evening, and I had the option of either sleeping in the bed that Grandma died in, or the bed that he was conceived in. So I'm truly not afraid of confronting difficult decisions. To give you the answer, it was the floor. Yeah, so anyhow, so I think if I had to decide on the dating thing, I think I would go with the freezer guy. Just because to me, it's like really comforting to know where a relationship's headed. I don't like a lot of things. Yeah, I thought it would be really easy for me to meet someone online. Bumble did not see it that way. They set my target at 35 to 80. Why stop at 80? I mean, I think 80 to dead isn't including that many more souls, do you? 35 to 80, that's pretty crazy. Although it could be worse. I mean, I shouldn't complain. It could have been 25 to 80. That would be really, really weird. I have girlfriends that would kind of be all over that. They would think that was hot somehow. But to me as a mom, when I'm approached by kids that age, it just sets something off. It's like that mom alarm that goes off, you know, when they're playing too quietly in their room. And you just feel like there's something bigger going on here, and I intend to get to the bottom of it, damn it. Like, I figure, worst case scenario, maybe I've gotten involved in some gang initiation ritual, you know? It's like a bag of mom thing, and I don't know if it's a, you know, I don't know. Or best case scenario, maybe this is like some Eagle Scout Cougar badge thing that's gone on. It's kind of fun now. I get to tell my friends, if you're going to do it, go for it. But you have to go into this with no expectations. I mean, you have to equally be able to imagine yourself in a wedding dress or in a dumpster. And who knows, maybe both at the same time if your magical day really derails. So I can't watch the news anymore. Anything going on that I'm missing? It's too depressing. It's just too depressing. I realize that, you know, there's a lot of important things that I might be missing, you know, like citywide evacuations or things like that. I'm just going to take my chances. But what I really miss out on missing is all of the good and hopeful news. The other day on Facebook, news does still get to me. I mean, I know enough that that's why I'm kind of pacing back and forth when I'm up here. I get at least that much about what's going on in the world. The other day, though, through Facebook, some news did make it to me, and that was a story about a 68-year-old dominatrix who was charging men $150 an hour to clean her house. I know, I could have missed that one, totally. Isn't that cool? Not only is it a great feel-good story, but it gives me a really good idea for my retirement. Or no, like, what about all those women who have banded together to just say, listen, we are no longer going to tolerate sexual harassment? That's really cool. That's very inspirational, don't you think? Yeah. And seeing what those women have done has really inspired me to talk about my own truth. I want to tell you guys something that until really recently I had never told another soul. This is kind of awkward, but truth will set you free, right? The truth is that I don't get sexually harassed. Like, at all. I mean, I feel like this whole thing is just like a parade that's just kind of passed me by without so much as a second glance. I feel different. I feel other than. I have nothing to talk about at cocktail parties. I'm really left with this sense that I need to get out there and I need to find my tribe. I need to find the other women who, like me, have been passed over. The other women who, like me, have asked, why not me too? You guys have been great. Thank you so much for